共同記者発表を執り行います。まず、岸田内閣総理大臣からご発言いただき、続いて、ミシェル議長、フォンデアライエン委員長にご発言いただきます。それでは、岸田内閣総理大臣、お願いいたします。
はい、ミシェル欧州理事会議長と、ファンデアライエン、欧州委員会委員長の訪日を、心から歓迎申し上げます。日本にとって基本的価値を共有する EU は国際社会の共通の課題に共に取り組む重要なパートナーです。日 EU 関係は私が外務大臣を務めていた時代に交渉した日 EU経済連携協定 EPA および戦略的パートナーシップ協定 SPA を基礎としてかつてなく緊密です。本日の協議では自由で開かれたインド太平洋の実現、日 EU グリーンアライアンスや日 EU 連結性パートナーシップも踏まえ、気候変動対策などさまざまな分野での協力を進めていくこと、さらに経済安全保障やエネルギーの分野でも協力を強化していくことを確認いたしました。今般、日 EU 間のデジタル分野の包括的協力枠組みであるデジタルパートナーシップの立ち上げに合意したことを嬉しく思います。信頼性のある自由なデータ流通 DFFT を進めることにつながるものです。また、航空分野の日 EU 水平協定交渉が実質合意に至ったことも歓迎いたします。ロシアによるウクライナ侵略は欧州にとどまらずアジアを含む国際秩序の根幹を揺るがすものであり、決して許されません。日本は EU を含むG7 と協調して強力な対ロ制裁を実施するとともに、ウクライナへの支援を強化してまいります。また、日 EU が協力し、世界の食料安全保障の観点も踏まえつつ、アジア、アフリカ諸国への働きかけを行っていくことでも一致をいたしました。また、この後のワーキングランチでも、欧州とインド太平洋の安全保障は不可分であることも踏まえ、東シナ海および南シナ海における力を背景とした一方的な現状変更の試みや、経済的威圧への対応、核・ミサイル問題や拉致問題を含む北朝鮮への対応等の東アジア情勢、イラン情勢、核軍縮・核不拡散についても議論を行う予定です。ミシェル欧州理事会議長が明日広島を訪問し、平和記念資料館を訪れ、献花を行うことを歓迎いたします。核兵器のない世界という大きな理想に向け、EU とも協力していきたいと考えます。また本日の協議の成果として共同声明を発出し、国際社会に対する日 EU の力強い前向きなメッセージを発信したいと考えています。以上です。
ありがとうございました。続きまして、ミシェル議長、お願いいたします。
Thank you. May I now invite the President Michel.
Thank you. Dear Prime Minister, dear Fumio, it's a pleasure to meet you and your team for our 28th Japan-EU Summit. Thank you for your warm welcome to Tokyo. Today, we discussed the deepening strategic and economic partnership between the European Union and Japan. We addressed our bilateral relations and important regional and global challenges, and how best to coordinate our responses. The EU and Japan are truly like-minded partners. Together we represent a quarter of global GDP. We have a deep and dynamic relationship United by the fundamental values of democracy and rule of law, Japan is our closest strategic partner in the Indo-Pacific region. And Russia's war against Ukraine has shown that deeper cooperation is not a luxury, it's a vital necessity. Today's summit is an opportunity to build on this momentum and to maximize the full potential of our partnership across a wide range of issues. And this summit takes place as Russia continues to savagely attack the people of Ukraine. We have responded in close coordination to condemn Russia and to impose punishing sanctions. I'd like to thank you, dear Prime Minister and Japan, for your solidarity. Together, we are providing significant humanitarian, financial and military support to Ukraine and its people. We also discussed our cooperation to prevent the circumvention of sanctions and to combat disinformation. And we are convinced those responsible for war crimes must be and will be brought to justice. We also discussed the global impact of the war on energy and food security. Our cooperation in Ukraine is critical in Europe, but it's also important in the Indo-Pacific, and we also want to deepen our consultations on a more assertive China. We believe that China must stand up to defend the multilateral system that it has benefited from in developing its country. This summit also shows our leadership in upholding multilateralism, including through reforms of multilateral bodies such as the UN, the WTO and the WHO. We also discussed ways to boost our cooperation in security and defense. Japan is the only Asian partner specifically mentioned in the strategic compass, our roadmap for bolstering our common European security and defense, and we've already have successful joint naval exercises in the Gulf of Aden and the Arabian Sea. We want to pursue this further. In the digital domain, the launch of our digital partnership today is a milestone. In fact, it's our first digital partnership with any country. It will help us achieve our shared goals in many key areas. We are extremely pleased on the innovation and research front. Japan has expressed its interest in being associated with our Horizon Europe program. EU and Japanese students and scholars will benefit from this greater cooperation. Sharing knowledge, know-how, expertise highlights our excellent like-minded cooperation. We are also banding together to protect our planet and speed up the transition to climate neutrality. Last year, we launched our ambitious EU-Japan Green Alliance, and now we are focused on implementing it. We also discussed concrete ways to get the most out of our connectivity partnership in energy, digital, transport, and people-to-people connections. The EU and Japan have a powerful trade relationship. The EU and Japan, this economic partnership is one of the EU's key trade deals, and now we want to maximize the untapped potential of this agreement, from animal health and food security to energy cooperation or geographical indications. Dear Prime Minister Di Fumio, tomorrow I will be in Hiroshima, Prime Minister Kishida's hometown. In these challenging times, symbols matter, and we will pay tribute to the victims of the atomic bomb. The Prime Minister has long been a strong voice for a nuclear-free world, and I want to clearly reaffirm that our actions in times of conflict must forever be guided by the tragic history of Hiroshima. In light of the war in Ukraine, this will be an important moment to send a powerful message of peace and of hope. I thank you.
ありがとうございました。続きまして、
Thank you very much. May I now invite Dr. von der
Thank you very
Leyen.
much, Prime Minister Kishida Di Fumio. We had a very substantive summit, but first let me express how glad I am to be here in Tokyo, because I know that the European Union in this increasingly unpredictable world can count on one of its oldest and closest allies. And likewise, because it gives me the opportunity of emphasizing once again that Japan can count on the European Union. We showed this not least by ensuring the delivery of over 390 million doses of vaccines to fight the COVID pandemic, and this gives me the opportunity to commend you to the outstanding success of your vaccination campaign and the way you overcome the difficulties of the pandemic we all have experienced. The European Union and Japan have so much in common. Our values, of course, democracy and the rule of law, our economic model, as well as a certain vision of the world. We both promote a multilateral global system based on rules designed to protect and benefit all. And it is precisely because this vision is so often challenged today that the European Union is looking to strengthen its relationship with like-minded partners such as Japan. Quite remarkably, today marks the 28th EU-Japan summit, a testament of the depth of the bond between us. At this summit, we discussed ways to deepen our partnership with concrete strands of work that will create opportunities for our economies and our citizens, and that will at the same time help us to address the challenges that our regions are confronted to. And let me elaborate on that. The Indo-Pacific is a thriving region. It is also a theater of tensions. Take the situation in the East and South China Sea or the constant threat of the DPRK. As we discussed, Prime Minister Kishida Fumio, the European Union wants to take a more active role in the Indo-Pacific. We want to take more responsibility in a region that is so vital to our prosperity. And this brings me to Russia. It is today the most direct threat to the world order, with the barbaric war against Ukraine and its worrying pact with China and their call for new and very much arbitrary international relations. Japan is part of the core group of countries that have imposed tough sanctions on Russia. Like the European Union, Japan understands what is at stake here, not just Ukraine's future, not just Europe's future, but the future of a rules-based world order. And this makes it all the more essential for like-minded partners like the European Union and Japan to strengthen their relations. And this is why we are here today. And we have taken some important steps forward. First, we are launching today the EU-Japan Digital Partnership. It is the first partnership of this kind that we conclude with any partner. A forum that will give political steer and impetus for our joint work on digital technologies, because leadership in this field is essential to our competitiveness and our security. Second, we will use our strategic partnership agreement to diversify and strengthen our supply chains. This is important because there are materials and technologies that have become essential to our economy and everyday lives, like semiconductors, for example. We must be able to count on trustworthy supply chains. Third, we agreed to cooperate more intensively on infrastructure. In the Indo-Pacific region, as elsewhere, the needs for investment are huge and the options are limited. They very often come at a price that no country should have to pay, like encroachments on their sovereignty, for example. And this is why the European Union launched Global Gateway. And as we discussed, Prime Minister Fumio, we would like to work with Japan on identifying good projects in this context, building on our two pioneering initiatives, The one is the Connectivity Partnership, and the other one is our Green Alliance. Let me finish, Prime Minister Fumio, by thanking you warmly for the admirable solidarity that Japan showed by diverting some of its LNG supplies to Europe. It was at a crucial time for us, at the height of the European heating season, and we will not forget this. This shows the power and the solidarity of democracies working together. Thank you.
どうもありがとうございました。
Thank you very much. This concludes the joint press announcements. Thank you very much. I thank the leaders as well as the participants. I would like to ask the member of the media to stay where you are until President Michel as well as President von der Leyen and the Prime Minister Kishida have left the hall.